What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the King and I Life podcast, hosted by myself, Soul Toucher the Poet, and my brother, Son Soul X, in his joint. Check it out. Hit us up, www.kingandilife.com, for all our podcast info. Subscribe to whatever podcast platform that you choose. Also, hit us up, KINGANDEYE369@gmail.com. Email us your suggestions, your feedback, and all that good stuff. Tune in to us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share, because we are all over all those social media platforms. Stay tuned for the good stuff. Yeah, we out.
I know that not everyone is strong, and again, I'm not making excuses for anyone, but some people feel like they need the drugs as an escape because they can't deal with the harsh realities of what's going on in their lives right now, which is a real shame, because I think the world, me speaking personally, it could be such a better place, but we all know that's the ideal world. We live in reality. So when it comes down to the prescriptions, what they prescribe, you know, when they tell you take one every 3 hours or 4 hours, that's the best advice they can give you, and that's the best advice you can give yourself, is follow the prescription by the instructions. And again, when you have people popping one pill, doing it by the book, you're good. But when you got people popping 3 and 4 of them at a time, like they got dang Skittles, then yes, it's definitely going to turn into a problem, because I think what people fail to realize, or some people, is the more you feed into what you think is pain, the higher the concentration of a painkiller, or whatever you want to call it, is required to meet that level. So if you're only supposed to be taking one and you're taking 3 or 4, that 3 and 4 is an overkill.
Right.
So the next thing you know, that 3 or 4 is not going to be enough. You're going to have to go to like 6 or 7, and so on and so forth. And that's where people really get themselves in trouble, and they get off into the deep end. And unfortunately, some of them can't find their way back.
Yeah.
Like I have a personal friend of mine who I used to work with, and we were pretty good friends. I'll say that. Unbeknownst to me, this person was doing drugs. I thought this person was a stellar person. Again, from a work point of view, this person was just one of the hardest workers I ever come in contact with. But anyway, behind the scenes, this person was doing drugs, and before they know it, they end up quitting their job. The job wasn't taken. They quit. And they got another job. They did that job for a little while, and then they end up getting fired from that job, because at that point, the addiction had started to snowball out of hand.
Wow.
So the next thing you know, they're doing odd and end jobs, you know, just to make ends meet, as they say. And the next thing you know, this person, they're no longer with us. I'll put it to you like that. And after finding out the circumstances behind them not being with, you know, us on this plane anymore, it was heartbreaking. Because this person, they left behind a family. You know, they left 2 kids. They left their wife. So drug addiction is, man, it can take you through hell when you think you're going through heaven. So it's one of those things, again, you have to do what's necessary to help yourself. And that means getting counseling or seeking drug rehabilitation. Whatever it is, do what's necessary to save self.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question with all of that.
All right.
What are your thoughts on people causing their own hardships, aches, pains, and whatever the case may be. And I say that because I look at a lot of people around me, and they're not doing the necessary things to take care of themselves mentally, physically, and emotionally. Like, I know a lot of jokers that out there with high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, and this, that, and the other, and they're not doing anything positively to correct that. What are your thoughts on people causing their own pains and stuff like that?
Without sounding judgmental, right? Because I think we all have our own personal battles and flaws, and things along that line. My heart goes out to them, but at the end of the day, every person is responsible for themselves. I think it's tougher when you have a mental illness that kind of adds to the pressure of trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from some of the foods that we have no other choice but to consume. We can try to eat as healthy as we want to, but for those of us who know, there are certain companies who are pushing things within our foods that's not the most healthiest. And I don't give a damn about how healthy you try to eat. They still put certain things on your food. But yeah, it all comes down to personal responsibility, man. I mean, when you see someone who's way out of shape, and you've known that person to be the type of person who regularly works out, or used to be a gym rat, or someone who's very conscious about their eating habits and taking care of themselves, and then when you see them now, they are way past that person that they used to be. And again, I can speak about that because me myself, I was just saying earlier in the podcast that I looked at myself in the mirror and was like, no, this isn't working for me because I was way overweight.
Mm-hmm.
So I've taken the necessary steps to guide myself into the direction that I feel most comfortable in, which is, again, being conscious about what I eat and what I put in my body. But it's a thin line, as they say, between healthy and unhealthy. Some people just don't give a damn, and then others, they just do the best they can. And I think that's all any of us can do. Just do the best you can to try to keep yourself healthy. What are your thoughts?
I look at it like this. We are in a society where people like convenience, and the more people like convenience, the more people adapt to convenience, the more convenience is going to be pushed upon us.
Right.
That has happened through every aspect of our lives. People look for convenience and the quick gratification, and that's what we're getting. As far as being conscious of what we put in our bodies, we all are responsible for that. Not the companies, not the government. We are responsible for that. Because again, we like convenience, and as much as we like convenience, somebody's going to find a convenient way for us to get something. Mm-hmm. You look at fast food. Fast food has gone leaps and bounds, I will say, over the last 20 years. The convenience of it. Now you can sit at home and order McDonald's. You can sit at home and order Burger King, Taco Bell, Wendy's. You can sit at home and order all these things, whereas you used to have to go out and get it. I mean, hell, we come from a time where the One of the only things that you can get delivered to you was a goddamn pizza. like straight up.
Yeah.
We came from a time where pizza and Chinese food
Real though.
were the two biggest things that you can get delivered to you. Now we are in a time where everything can get delivered to you by any and everybody. Uber Eats, I can't even remember the other ones. DoorDash and stuff like that. So, you know, when and this goes back to government and consumerism and this, that, and the other. Everybody wants to point the finger, blah, 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 blah. You can't point the finger if you're engaging in the harmful behavior. You can't point the finger if you're not saying, hey, no, stop. You can't point the finger. You cannot point the finger. Again, if you're not participating, you can't complain. So it's like we all have the ability, even me, we all have the ability to dictate and control what we put in our bodies. You can either watch on TV, go to YouTube University, read a book, trial and error. But we all have the ability to grow our own vegetables and stuff of that nature. We all have the ability to do it. So it's like when we talk about all these issues that we have, me included, but yet we out there getting Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, and Five Guys, and this, that, and whatever it is out there. It's our fault, not their fault. We're asking for the convenience, and they're saying, here you go. Here's your GMO. Here's your yellow number 5. Here's your blue 15. Here's your whatever they putting in it. And like that one podcast that we did a while back, we're talking about this stuff, and it's like the FDA has limits of what BS can be in our foods, whether it's rat piss, rat shit, bugs, whatever. The FDA has guidelines for how much of this nonsense is allowed in our foods. So who's to blame? We are collectively, we are all to blame. But again, you know, it's that thing of convenience, and I know a lot of people who are stuck on that convenience. I know people who eat out every day, every meal. I can say I'm guilty of eating out too much, but you know, I just made a big pot of beans, cooked up some rice, you know, I made that Tuesday night. It was ready Wednesday morning, and I've been eating on that most of the time. I've eaten out twice in the last several days because it's like if I cook it, I know what I'm putting in this aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they're dry beans. Yes, it's dry rice. I know what I'm preparing that with, as opposed to me going somewhere and ordering that same thing where I don't know what they put in it.
So true, sir. So true. At the end of the day, we are the ones that we have to point the finger at. Like you said, we're in charge of what we put in our bodies, regardless of what BS they may be, doing to our food or altering our food on their end. So let's get into this Chris Rock and Will Smith situation. That was one of our topics this past year as well.
Yeah, recap the recap. Yeah. I'm gonna stick to my guns.
All right.
Unnecessary. I don't get it. I will never get it. I will never understand it. I will never comprehend it because at the end of the day, it's a comedian. If you can't take potentially being joked by a comedian, you don't need to be there. That's all I got.
I will second that emotion, sir. I will say again that my hat goes off to Chris Rock because if anybody, especially a man, that anybody come to me like that and slap me, hey, you keep your hands to yourself, I'll keep my hands to myself. But please realize there are going to be some consequences behind pulling an action like that on me.
Woo!
Anybody with any kind of self-respect.
Yeah.
And again, I think that he handled it correctly by, not immediately returning retaliation.
Mm-hmm.
He let it be what it was. Even after he everything was done and over with, this man still maintained his self-respect and self-dignity by not even speaking on it.
Right.
And then when Will Smith, reached out to him to do a formal apology, he was like, "Nah, I'm not ready to talk yet." So even then, he's still maintaining, that dignity about himself. Whereas he could have, gone off and called a man all kind of this and that and, really went in on the subject of his wife.
Yeah.
I think at that point he pretty much would have been justified. But
yeah,
again, he maintained his self-respect and dignity. And again, I take my hat off to him for that.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Will Smith. I think that he had a bad moment in time where he just failed to utilize wisdom and the right circumstances for that particular point. You know what I mean? Like, again, like you say, the man is a comedian. That's what he does. That's why he's, one of the leading comedians of his time.
Yeah.
So if you can't take a joke, MFer, you need to keep your behind at home.
Yeah.
Just that simple to me.
That's simple. Here's the other thing that I don't agree with that people were saying. They was applauding him for doing that, but here's the thing. And the thing that people seem to overlook is that singular act has brought light to and encouraged people being attacked in that manner.
Right.
Because if you remember correctly, the dude ran up on Dave Chappelle while he was on stage doing his thing. And he had a knife that was like in a gun thing. Like it was a knife, but it was like a gun knife. It wasn't a gun, it was a gun knife.
Right.
But and that brought out, it brought light to other comedians being attacked on stage, and it's encouraged people to run up on people in other situations. And it's like, whatever happened to sticks and stones will break my bones and words will never hurt me. Whatever happened to that? People, I don't know. People have become weird these days. People have become either so sensitive or fake sensitive, and it's just mind blowing.
Yeah, it is. I want to say that situation with Dave Chappelle though. Dave Chappelle didn't go out like a punk though.
He ain't go out like a punk because he had a whole bunch of gutter dudes on there.
Yeah. We don't know what exactly happened behind the curtain there. Only speculations were made, but
yo,
like, hold on.
Yeah.
This fella said, hold on a second, let me go see about this fella.
Yeah.
But the shootings and the crime level in our country, as it stands right now, there's just as many shootings, public shootings, and the crime rate is spiked.
Mm-hmm.
I would say since COVID, unfortunately. Will things get worse? I don't know. From just me doing my research on it, things have gone up. It don't look like anything's stabling off right now. I can't really predict what's going to happen, but I would just tell people be more aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to be aware of your surroundings because we are in a time where people don't even give a damn about situational awareness. And I get the term situational awareness is more of a military term, but to make it universal, pay attention to your damn surroundings. Again, on YouTube, and I watch the news here and there, but I watch YouTube a lot, and I watch news from legitimate news stations around the country. And the thing that people are not paying attention to is, and this has been going on for years, people following you around stores, people following you to your car, people following you to your house. It's like people don't take a second to pay attention to their surroundings. So when it comes to these shootings and these crimes and stuff like that, it's like, yo, don't go to work the same way every day. Don't go home the same way every day. Don't go pick your kids up the same way every day. Don't go to the store the same way every day. Just don't do it. Like, pay attention. And you're talking about shooting, just like, I don't know why these kids feel like they need to get guns and that they're not at a legal age to carry them or obtain them. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And then people always say, well, the government ain't doing this. They took away the rec centers, this, that, and it's like, that shit burns me up so bad, because it's like, you don't want, again, and I've said this before, you don't want the government in your business, but you want the government to do your business. It's like, if we're not maintaining our own communities, why should they? It's our job. Maybe I don't know.
Again, it's crazy to me to think about young kids anywhere from the age of 8, 12, 16, committing crimes with weapons, meaning handguns or assault rifles, whatever the case may be. We would always, back when we were coming up, we always had something to do.
Right.
Even though we had a rec center, we weren't always in the rec center. Like, we were always on the go, out riding our bikes or setting up some type of ramp.
Right.
Or going to some different park. I mean, we would be gone for hours. We leave in the morning, and
man,
sometimes we would get home just before the damn street lights come on, or some just after the street lights have come on. Like that.
Right.
That was the time. You had to be home by street light. That was the unwritten rule, as they say. But these kids nowadays are stealing cars, going on high speed chases, doing the whole, what's it called when a gang of them run into a store and rob the store at the same time? Smash and grab. Snatch and grabs. And the young kids nowadays having kids, meaning these young ladies having kids, is off the chart. Like, wow.
Yo, stop. You going down a can of worms here, boy.
Whoa.
Let me get my seasoning salt.
But I say all that to say that, man, it's a different time for this generation. Like, we never had to deal with social media and pressures that come with social media. And again, I'm not making excuses for any of them. There's a lot that they could be doing besides going to rec centers or having community events or get-togethers or whatever the case may be, man. Like, I would say there's probably more for kids to do now than there was when we came up.
Yo.
So, yeah, I have no excuses for them.
You know what? Because you are saying this, and it kind of creeps into the Roe versus Wade, and I really didn't want to touch on it because it's kind of like a dead issue right now.
Right.
And the overturning of Roe v. Wade, it, in my opinion, it does not affect half the goddamn people that's out here crying and whining about it. I personally, I guess I would be classified as a pro-choice person because I am not in any position to tell anybody, man or woman, what to do with their body. That's your body. That's your life. You have to deal with your choices. That's not going to be on me or my conscience. If you choose to get an abortion and it messes your body up or it messes you up mentally or emotionally, that's not on me. I don't want no parts of that. If you get pregnant and you're in a situation to where it's mentally or physically not good for you, I don't want to be in the position to make that decision. It's your body. But, you know, when you talk about kids having kids, it's like, at what point do y'all not see the pattern that has been going on throughout society or in this country for decades? It's like you in high school, middle school, whatever, and you feel like you need to crack your legs open or jump between some legs because you want to fit in and peer pressure. At what point do you not... At what point do you say, I've seen so many people go through this. I do not want to be that guy or that girl. I don't want to say at what point do you learn, at what point do you realize, or what point do you comprehend? Because we all, and I'm saying us, especially us, from high school to now, we all know someone who has gotten pregnant or gotten somebody pregnant when they should not have. And it's all because of the choices that they made. Period. It doesn't matter what you say to anybody. If they want to go do it, they're going to go do it. If they are reckless in their act and a baby comes out of it, that's on them. I don't think you should overturn Roe v. Wade. I don't think you should be like pro-choice or pro-life. Let that person do whatever they feel they need to do for their situation. Because the problem that we have is, yes, we have kids raising kids. And what happens with that is usually the parents end up taking care of those kids. And that child that's getting pregnant or whatever goals they had typically stop. If you had any ambition of going to college or whatever after high school or whatever the case may be, 9 times out of 10, that's an uphill battle that you gotta deal with. I told my oldest son this. You know, when he was in high school, me and his mother was like, yo, whatever you do, don't get nobody pregnant. Don't be out there having sex. Don't be doing this, that, and the other, because once you do that, everything changes. He got his little girlfriend pregnant senior year of high school. Talking about, oh, I want to go to college. Like,